Thank you, Mr. Amit. Now the time has come what I've been waiting for. Mr. Anand Sir's keynote address.
Between two of my dear friends who are now dean of the school and chairperson of the center, I feel very happy and satisfied. The way I planned for my presentation this morning was slightly different. They have made it very personal. And I feel that they have given you a wrong picture, overrated me. This has been the way of JNU, dealing with students as if they are your own family members, dealing with subject as if it is your mission, and dealing with colleagues as if they are partners in progress. This has been the way we saw things happening in JNU in the 70s when I was a student, and much more from late 25 years when I came here in 1990. It was a place which gave you limitless vision, dreams, ambitions, and as you can see in my narrative, you don't know where the village starts and the world begins. And JNU has been one of the best places in the country to be identified with Socialwork, Berlin, Freiburg, Paris, London. And this was not because we had some special opportunity. It was in the nature of things. So the first thing and probably the last thing I have to tell you about my narrative, my experience is that if you are having a passion and a purpose, togetherness of passion and purpose will take you to places. It is a difficult time, but it is always a difficult time. To tell the truth to the power is not an easy thing. To be unconventional is much more complex. But that's where sociology helps you. I personally came to sociology after doing my graduation in sciences. Because I was born in a period where my generation was full of restlessness. Not unrest. We were not happy with anything. Indira Gandhi Murdabad, Charan Singh Murdabad, Karpuri Thakur Murdabad. Change was also not welcome, and status quo, of course, was not acceptable. And in that process, I thought that doing chemistry, BSc and MSc can wait. Let me do something better. And in the presence of Varanasi, I could find some material which was social science related. I was also born in a family which had social science background. So the two together, the family and the fraternity, gave me confidence to jump out of science bandwagon. See, in my time, I don't know how it is today. I think it's much more complex today. An intelligent student is one who does science. And a mediocre student is one who does arts, humanities, social science. I thought it's a big labeling, losing lot of respect. Oh, science छोड़ दिया, इसको गणित नहीं आता होगा, केमिस्ट्री नहीं आता होगा, दिमाग से कमजोर है, क्या कर रहे हो, सोशियोलॉजी कर रहे हो, ये तो बस मैरिज, फैमिली, कास्ट, रिलीजन, यही तो सोशियोलॉजी है. So there was a lot of negativity about sociology in comparison with other social sciences, much more with social sciences in comparison to natural sciences. But then it was also a time of exploration, being unconventional, 70s. And that helped me. Unfortunately, when I began my romance with sociology in the first beginning, it was not appreciated. I was expelled from the university. And I couldn't get time to study classes, take classes in the second year. Second year was totally dedicated to protest movement against the Vice Chancellor. I was more in Delhi than in Banaras. But still, when the compromise came, I was given an opportunity along with all my friends to appear in the exam. It was so unfortunate that I turned out to be the topper of the batch. The Vice Chancellor who gave me expulsion letter had to give me gold medal because it was in the name of Vice Chancellor. So the convocation was cancelled. But that gold medal stood me in good light. When I came to JNU, a BHU gold medal was very useful. I'm making it as a point to tell you that academic excellence, no matter how it is achieved, it is always useful for you. We were belonging to the generation which wanted to change the education. Even today, Shiksha Badlo is a very popular demand. Actually, there is a government which created a new education policy. And this new education policy is a testimony to the power of student movement and youth unrest of the 60s, 70s and 80s. So, my journey with sociology began with troubles. It's like, friendship is not appreciated by the neighbors. So your parents are okay, your friends' parents are okay, but the neighbors are not okay. So I had to leave Banaras. I came to JNU. JNU was a new university at that time. I was the second batch MPhil. Ahsanul Bhai, Professor Ahsanul Haq, Dipankar Gupta, they were my seniors. Yes, who were teaching us relatively young, Professor Ruman, Professor Yogen Singh, Professor K.S. Sharma, Professor Panini, Professor Venugopal, Professor Jain. My friend Professor Nagla is here. We were together in the classroom. And one of the teachers always used to make fun of us. Tumko sociology aati hi nahi hai. You don't understand sociology. And he was partly true, partly wrong. Partly true because we had not read the classics, like Suicide, or Religion in India, or Das Kapital. But we had lived reality of disenchantment, reality of demanding change. Post-colonial India was not happy with the way things were in 70s. So JNU gave us a lot of space. One example will be that we are talking about class, working class, condition of workers. And the new campus was being built where we are sitting today. These hostels, these school buildings were being built. The people who were building, men and women, were living in tents. The children were not going to school. So one of our professors, Professor Partha Mukherjee, said, you talk about poverty and class struggle. Have you seen poverty? Well, no sir, we are not. We are coming from very poor families. And we all were getting scholarship also. So he said, you must experience poverty. How do we do, sir? You have to attend your classes, do your homework. No. In the evening, you go to these workers' settlements, try to teach their children and see how they respond. It was learning sociology at the grassroots level. We did that because the challenge was from the teacher. We were challenging his text and he was challenging our understanding. Today, you are again at a turning point where challenges are many. Nobody is satisfied. Even if you ask the most powerful people in the country, are you satisfied with the affairs of the country? No, we are not. We want to change. How do you want to change it? And that's where the debate begins. I wanted to talk to you about my work at Shimla Indian Institute of Advanced Studies after I left JNU, which gave me an opportunity to write my understanding and analysis. And I think that we are dealing with a democracy which is not Nehruvian democracy, is not Narendra Modi democracy, is a democracy. A post-colonial country dealing with democracy. But our democratic system has got certain deficits. It's like a child being born with diabetes, a child being born with visual handicap, a child being born with certain genetic disorders. All democracies of the world have been born with certain genetic disorders, whether it is American democracy, British democracy, German democracy, or Indian democracy. And we, the intellectuals, particularly social scientists, have to make it clear, make it understand to the other people. Now, when we talk about democracy and democratization as the process of democracy building, we have recognized all over the world because it was a Euro-American experience. The democracy has got 4 pillars, right? Legislature, executive, judiciary and media. And between these 4 pillars, a structure is built called democracy. What we see in India and many other countries, that it is not 4 pillars. It is an architecture based on 7 pillars. But we theoretically have not integrated them. So we treat them as outside factors, external factors, exceptional factors, Indian exception. It is not so. What are the other three pillars which have become visible now with Indian experience? India has judiciary, legislature, executive and media. But there are three more pillars which are very visible in India: Pakistan, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh. And these three pillars are political parties. Political party in America, in Germany, in England is not so relevant as it is as an agency of political socialization. I'm very happy with the organizers of this seminar that they titled it Democratic Imagination. India did not have time to have democratic imagination. We are fighting for freedom. Freedom came at a cost, brutal partition, and then we had international isolation, international non-cooperation. Whether the Russians or the British or the Americans, they never forgave us that we demanded freedom from their benevolent system. So we could not recognize some of the new factors which are operating today, and we don't realize it till it's very late. Indira Gandhi was one of the first to start the process of creating this confusion. When the opposition parties started challenging her ways, she was the most powerful Prime Minister ever. She had taken the agenda of right and the left. She nationalized the banks, ended privy purse, introduced many progressive measures like land reforms. So the left was clueless except to support her. Then she took away the agenda of the right. The biggest dream of rightist forces in India is to demolish, to end, to eliminate what? Poverty? No. Poverty can wait. We will take care of Pakistan. And who broke Pakistan? Indira Gandhi. In an effortless manner, she used the opportunity of Bangladesh revolt, and Pakistan was broken into two. So the right party's agenda was also taken over by her. She became a consensual Prime Minister. And that's where the tragedy began. Her success became her failure. And she started treating opposition parties as opponent of people, opponent of democracy. And she imposed emergency. 19 months, all over the country, particularly northern provinces, it was a regime of terror. But after emergency was over, we recognized that all political parties, left, right, center, ruling party, opposition party, they all contribute in their last analysis in making of democracy. It's not a democratic society, you know. Who told it first time? The man who led the team to draft the constitution. Baba Sahib Ambedkar told in the last lecture, you must have read it again. What did he say? India is not a suitable country for democracy. We have planted a sapling of democracy on the soil of political equality. One person, one vote. But unless we have social inequality addressed and economic inequality eliminated, democracy will not survive. It becomes much more clear today. You go to Chhattisgarh, you go to Telangana, you go to Jharkhand, you go to Odisha. Is democracy growing? You go to Kashmir. Is democracy growing? And no matter which government comes into power, which ideology comes into power, they'll do the same. Chhattisgarh had Congress Chief Minister. Then Chhattisgarh has BJP Chief Minister. Then Chhattisgarh had Congress Chief Minister. Now there is BJP government. But have they changed their attitude of the tribals of Chhattisgarh? No. So that's where political parties make a very strong impact. Second pillar, which has been discovered in India and is now recognized all over the world, is the voluntary organization. The voluntary organizations are working at a grassroots level. They have taken one agenda: women empowerment, gender justice, healthcare, child labor, old age people. One tiny problem in democracy. But they are doing enormous service to innovate ways, methods. Find a road which there is no road, a passage. And who is doing it? The bureaucrats. They don't know it. They can't do it. Yes, minister is their simple formula. Then who is? Political parties. उनको तो फुर्सत ही नहीं है. पहले चुनाव जीतना सीट बचाना है, चाहे जो पार्टी हो। हमारे बहुत सारे दोस्त, आई मेनी फ्रेंड्स who are whole time politicians. Ask them how are you doing? बहुत बुरा हाल है भाई साहब। अरे you won the election with lakhs of votes, वही तो सिरदर्द है। They think that I'm minister. They ask for job, they ask for transfer posting, they ask for changing the nature of complaint. The man is murdered, but it has to be converted into a मामूली झगड़ा। And if you don't do it, तो आइएगा चुनाव में देखेंगे आप। So this is the tragedy of winners. Those who are ministers, they are in a much more difficult situation. साहब सारा काम तो वहां से होता है, कहां से होता है भाई? When Dr. Manmohan Singh was Prime Minister for 10 years, there was a parallel center, or rather real center of power in the residence of Sonia Gandhi. And today, it is PMO. So ministers are also helpless. होते हैं दुनिया को लगता है कि हम मिनिस्टर हैं, हमारे कहते दुनिया चलने की, हमारे तो कोई नहीं सुनता, हमारे चपरासी भी नहीं सुनता। But voluntary organizations, they live in their own world. Tiger बचाओ, Tehri बचाओ, नर्मदा बचाओ. They think that if Narmada can be saved, Mrida Patkar, we had invited Mrida Patkar in the conference at Odisha, the Indian challenges will be solved. Similarly, those who think that if we save the tigers, biodiversity challenge will be over. Those who are looking at gender issues, they think violence against women is the biggest tragedy of Indian democracy. As long as there is violence in the household, in public places, against women, there is no democracy. What kind of freedom, what kind of democracy, what kind of justice? Communal rights, minority. So they are singular in their focus, that's true. They don't have a holistic perspective, that's also true. But the problem they are tackling is problem in Indian democracy. And to the extent they are trying to solve it is a great contribution. So voluntary organizations. And the seventh pillar, agency, media of democratization in our society is a very strange place. You may not recognize it. Because you are part of it. All the knowledge centers are contributing to democracy. Democratization of knowledge is an incomplete task. When India became free, we had only 17 universities. Only 17 universities. Today we have nearly 900 universities and 50,000 colleges. And this is the demand for universities and colleges is not fulfilled. You look at the education achievements from the gender perspective, from the perspective of Dalits, scheduled tribe, poor people, they think that we have ignored the demands of these vital sections of our society. So, university centers, knowledge centers, research institutes, they are the seventh agency of democracy. Democracy of knowledge. Why governments are afraid of research centers? They are very afraid. JNU वाले नहीं, सारे यूनिवर्सिटी वाले। JNU तो एक बहाना है, जहां भी लड़का लड़की है, आजाद दिमाग का है, क्रिटिकल है, झंडा लेके नारा लगाता है, उससे डरते हैं। नारा लगाते लगाते तो आपको देश को आजादी मिली, और आप नारा लगाने से डरते हैं। नारा लगाने से आप आगे बढ़ेंगे। That solidarity, that citizenship. So I'm very happy that apart from democratic imagination, they have also took care to understand the problem of citizenship. The problem of citizenship has changed. When T.H. Marshall wrote about citizenship, he said that citizenship has got three dimensions. Economic citizenship, right to work. Political citizenship, right to vote. And social citizenship, right to have freedom from discrimination, deprivation, destitution. But T.H. Marshall was writing in the context of nation states. Today the problem of citizenship is located in the frame of globalization as well as nation building. Nation building is not less significant, but it is not the beginning and the end of the story. Jawaharlal Nehru had challenge of nation building of India. promoting national unity through languages, religions, regions. Narendra Modi has a more complex challenge. On the one hand, he has to manage, and he or anybody who becomes Prime Minister next or who was Prime Minister earlier, they have to manage linguistic diversity, economic diversity, social diversity. They have to also manage the global forces. जवाहरलाल नेहरू ने तो बोला कि हमारा तो नॉन अलाइनमेंट है, न उर्दू का लेना न माधव का देना, हम जाएंगे ही नहीं, न रूस के पास जाएंगे न अमेरिका के पास जाएंगे। नरेंद्र मोदी को दोनों के पास जाना पड़ रहा। पहले बोला डोनाल्ड ट्रंप क्या आपकी बात ट्रंप सरकार, अब जाकर के वहां चीन के साथ बात करना पड़ा, चीन ने आप पर हमला कर रखा है। These are compulsions of survival, to be or not to be. That's why my friends are very unhappy with my friend Jaishankar. Jaishankar was one of the best products. I have known him very personally. And I like his style. He speaks like a no-nonsense foreign minister. But his problems are too many. Who could predict Bangladesh? Who could predict Nepal? And if there is a wrong happening in Nepal or Bangladesh, you blame Indian Foreign Office. Because like a CIA, anything going wrong in India, in Indira Gandhi's time was CIA. Today, anything going wrong in South Asian countries is India. India is the biggest donor, India is the biggest helper, but India is also the biggest winner. So, these truths are revealed by students, their research projects, their books, their discussions, their class lectures. I have lived here for 25 years. And for me, the temperature of the country was visible when you look at the dining hall. रात में किस सवाल पर कौन सा भाषण दे रहे हैं, लड़के किस बात को सुनना चाहते हैं, किस बात को ताली बजा रहे हैं, किस बात को निंदा कर रहे हैं. And from the university campuses, the idea will go to the larger masses, public sphere. That way you are all public intellectuals. Not long ago, but yes, 10, 12 years ago, my friend, Michael Burrow, he was my senior at Chicago. He became international president, but we had the capacity to arm twist and bring him here and again. So he came once, and he said that there are three kinds of intellectuals among sociologists. Classical sociologists. I entered into politics. He was urban affairs minister. He was elected from local Ranchi seat. And he said that all of you are at least PhD, because all of them were university professors and teachers. I'm not, so there is a knowledge gap of at least 5 years between you and me. So what I'm going to tell you, don't take it as an offense. I'm telling you one personal experience. You all have opinions about us. हमारी राय में ऐसा होना चाहिए, हमारी राय में ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. आप जो राय बहादुर लोग हैं, हम लोग कुछ काम की बात ही बताया करिए. हमारी सरकार 5 साल के लिए बनती है. शुरू का 6 महीना सरकार समझने में लगता है, आखिरी के 6 महीने हमारा कोई सुनता ही नहीं. तो चुनाव आ रहा है, जब देखा जाएगा जो होगा कोई काम बने. तो 4 साल की हमारे पास सरकार है, और आपका मिनिमम पीएचडी प्रोजेक्ट भी 4 साल 5 साल लगता है. तो आप जब तक हमको लिख के देंगे इस प्रॉब्लम का क्या कारण है, इसका क्या सोल्यूशन है, हमारी तो कैपेसिटी खत्म हो जाएगी. टेक लेस टाइम एंड गिव अस मोर pragmatic solutions. But that's why public sociology is so relevant. We have great opportunity, because when politicians know everything, the intellectuals are not needed. When we at the time of Jawaharlal Nehru, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, Baba Saheb Ambedkar, अब उनसे ज़्यादा पढ़ा लिखा कौन आ गया, उनको किसको सुनने की जरूरत है. But when you have mediocres as leading the country, whether here or there, this party or that party, then intellectuals have a chance. अरे आपने तो पढ़ रखा, हमने तो पढ़ा, तो खाली नाम सुना था, खाली फोटो का मूर्ति लगा के पूजा करते हैं. आप बताइए ना इसमें क्या कहा था बाबा साहब ने, या गांधी जी ने, या मार्क्स ने, या लेनिन ने, या माओ ने. So this is a great time for all of us, and I propose this issue to be discussed very seriously, because if we are not relevant, then we become one of the classical languages. There is an advertisement in Calcutta University these days to apply for a particular language course in MA. To run that course, you need 10 students. And they are able to get 10 students in that course. I'll not tell you the language, and if you want to know, I'll tell you personally. It's very offensive. In a country like India, that subject has become so unpopular because there is no job. Even if I do MA with gold medal, who will give me a job? So nobody is coming to that department. And that department is about to close. Same can happen with us also. If you are connected with society, then we are relevant. Our solution may not be 100% perfect, but at least we are trying. We are not like philosophy. I like philosophy. Philosophy is mother of most of the disciplines. But the philosopher is not related with present day challenges. जीवन क्या है, मृत्यु क्या है, साधना क्या है, परमात्मा क्या है, इसी में लगे हुए हैं. रोटी क्या है, रोजगार क्या है, भ्रष्टाचार क्या है, इसके बारे में कोई जवाब नहीं आपके पास. तो फिलॉसफी को कम लोग पढ़ते हैं. यहाँ पे फिलॉसफी स्कूल सेंटर बनाने में बड़ा टाइम लगा. क्या जरूरत है उसको अलग से पढ़ाने की? कौन पढ़ने आएगा? तो हम लोग नहीं पढ़ने दीजिए, बहुत इसमें अभी खजाना छिपा है, पता नहीं है लोगों को. Young friends in sociology, there are departments which are running on subsidy earned by other sisters. जैसे घर में 2 भाई हैं, 2 बहनें हैं, एक लायक है, एक उतना लायक नहीं है, लेकिन चूंकि परिवार है, so the money being collected in the family fund is unevenly contributed. Number of departments of sociology are now being subsidized by Department of Social Work. Social work is a self-paid course. People want to take the course. ये तो थे टाटा इंस्टीट्यूट में. ज्यादा फर्क नहीं है. That is applied sociology. That's all. But there is a branding. MSW करोगे, टाटा क्या नौकरी मिलेगी, अंबानी क्या मिलेगी, अडानी क्या मिलेगी. सोशियोलॉजी पढ़ोगे तो जेएनयू में नौकरी नहीं मिलेगी, क्योंकि आप हर जगह क्वेश्चन लगाओगे. Why it is so? I don't agree with it. तो भाई ऐसे आदमी को कौन नौकर रखेगा, कौन कर्मचारी रखेगा? जो जी हाँ बोलेगा उसी को रखेगा. So there is a sense of urgency to get connected with wider processes, get connected with theory building. And there are 3 areas where theories are needed. But all theories are dead. They are counterproductive. They are producing bad results. One is the theory of decolonization. Decolonization is taking us towards the past. Decolonization is not past worship. Decolonization is certainly correcting the mistake of ignoring the past. But decolonization is a project into future. Second challenge is about modernization. What is modernization? And how to deal with pathology of modernization? परिवार टूट रहा है, क्यों? ऐसा मॉडर्न हो गए. कोई किसी का ख्याल नहीं करता, सब सेल्फिश हो, क्यों? मॉडर्न हो गए. Modernization has become the punching bag about social pathology. It is not so. No society can afford to be away from process of modernization. But you have to have its own permutation and combination. Which society needs what kind of modernization? How much modernization? In economy, in polity, in culture, it will be decided by the people themselves. That is Swaraj. So modernization theories are to be visited again, and I don't know whether Professor Srinivas himself, or Professor Yogen Singh himself would have said that close your eyes and ears and only read my books. No. Because his student, I'm very happy to join all of you this afternoon. And this reminds me of our felicitation of Professor Yogen exactly after he turned 75. On the one side was Professor Modi, on the other side was me, and all of you, all these faculty members are there to celebrate his work on modernization. But he said, this work was written for students of Canada, and you make it such a big deal. I appreciate your respect for my work, but I want you to read more, go beyond me. So this is where a scholar will lead you. Don't stay with me Get on my shoulder, but look beyond me. So theory of moderation. And third is a baby which is not wanted by anybody. Acid is there. Is the bull in the China shop. Globalization. There was a period of globalization. Then came a period of deglobalization. The biggest promoter of globalization was the United States of America. And the President of America is saying that I have only one project. Make America great again. So our leader went there. He said, it's a very good project, but please add one more project here. Make India great also. There's economic nationalism coming back. There's globalization coexisting with economic nationalism. And we have to have a new theory, new theoretical framework. I'm very happy that Professor Vivek Kumar mentioned the interviews we had with Professor Wallerstein and Professor T.K. Oman. I'm very sad that Professor Oman is very sick. He has become totally dependent on medicine and nurses. But the man had many ideas, many pointers towards future. He was one of the best theory builders in our center. But as he was our center scholar, घर की मुर्गी दाल बराबर. So we said, उमर साहब ने लिखा कोई बात नहीं. उमर साहब also had a problem. हर 2 साल में किताब लिख देते थे. और बड़ी कठिन किताब तो हमने उनसे कहा कि अब तो लिखना बंद करिए प्रभु, हम लोगों को पढ़ना पड़ता है, आप तो लिख लिए. We used to laugh. He said, the day I stop writing, I am dead. So that is the message for all of us. When we come to the classroom, we come with certain ideas, understanding, concepts, theories. But when we go out of the classroom, we have received questions, confusions, suggestions from us. So every classroom experience is a very creative experience. And I feel very obliged to these, some of the best students, young men and women, who came from all over the country, from Kashmir to Kerala, and from Manipur to Gujarat, to a place like JNU. And every batch had a distinct contribution in our growing up. And today, the door is open. Politics is being vilified. I am from that generation which tried to create a critical perspective of politics. But now I think that we have overdone it. Every problem should not be put at the doorstep of politician. There are other sources also which are creating problem. And they should be recognized. Not only national sources, international sources. So there is billionaire Raj in India. So if we have sociology as our passion, you must recognize that you are trying to become a sociologist at a time where the society is under great turmoil, and the bottom line of our society is democratization, which is an incomplete project, which has got certain birth defects. We can change the regimes. We have changed the regimes. But to change the system, you have to have certain fundamental institutional corrections. And they can be identified only by social scientists, not by politicians, not by bureaucrats, not by businessmen at all. So, to conclude my presentation for this dialogue on democratic imagination, I want to congratulate you that you have used a parallel, because there was a sociological imagination by C. Wright Mills, which gave us a framework in 60s and 70s. But today we have to recognize that intellectually we are committed to engage in democratic imagination. There are hardly 6 or 7 people who have thought about democracy. But we had no time. To imagine democracy was a difficult imagination. So we had Nehru, we had Ambedkar, we had Anand Roy, a little bit of Gandhi, because Gandhi was always nervous about parliamentary democracy. So he did not pay much attention. Today, we have 75 years of our experience. It has to be theorized. And as I tried to present before you, a new initiative, that it is not 4 pillars, it is 7 pillars. Similarly, the last point I want to make, आप कहीं कब तक लास्ट पॉइंट करोगे भाई, भी तो कह रहे थे खत्म करने वाले. The last point I want to make is about the process of social change. What caste has done to democracy and what democracy has done to caste has been a very perplexing problem. When I tried to read it, and I tried to read it all these 35-40 years, and I was very lucky to have some of the best teachers of my time, some of the best universities of my time. There are 2 biological processes which try to explain the relation between caste and democracy, caste and social change. You know, somebody told, this was an open secret. I never used any writing or reading of Lohia. इनको तो इन्होंने कहा कि हमको अम्बेडकर पढ़ने का मौका मिला. But nobody will meet you who will say that in all these 35 years, I tried to use Lohia as my reference point, because I thought that let the students find their own goal, their own inspiration. It could be Vivekananda, it could be Aurobindo, it could be Ambedkar, it could be Phule, it could be Gandhi, it could be Nehru. Who am I to decide? And that's what university is all about. So there are 2 processes which are more clear to biology people. Biology वाले कुछ हैं जो इंटर तक की biology आ रहे, तुम भी आ गए. आप तो थे. एक प्रोसेस ऑस्मोसिस. ऑस्मोसिस में मेम्ब्रेन से एक एग्जिस्टिंग बॉडी का इम्पैक्ट आता है और वो परिवर्तित होता है. एक है सिम्बायोसिस. इसमें परिवर्तन तो होता है, देयर इज चेंज, बट मोस्टली वन वे चेंज. It's like media changing society and not society changing media. So we have both operating. It's like physics. This ray of light, is it? It operates as a wave, straight line. Sometimes it is a wave.
Sometimes particle.
Sometimes particle. Similarly, caste and democracy, caste and social change. Sometimes caste is changing, and then we say, Bharat Mata ki jai, Bharatiya Janata Jindabad. But sometimes caste is making democracy change. This is dominant caste democracy. We say, क्या बात करते हो? Dominant caste democracy कहाँ से आ गई? जाके देखो ना क्या हो रहा है. The way election system is perverted, the way political process is perverted, is because of the continuity of democratic caste, a dominant caste, refusing to be democratic. And it's not only other castes, they do that in a rough manner with their women, with their own communities, poor people. It's very anti-democratic. But dominant caste is a reality. I personally may not like caste. I may have choice to marry outside my caste. But so what? This has been going on since Buddha's time, Kabir's time. As a sociologist, whether you like it or not, you have to report to the reality. You have to be honest to the reality. So, the experience of democracy is very rich, but it needs your engagement. Beyond the available interpretations of Rajni Kothari or Yogen Singh, Rudolph and Rudolph, yes. आपने उनका देखा था, वो हमारे टीचर भी थे. आई एम वेरी हैप्पी एंड वेरी प्लीज. एक कुर्सी तो आपने कुर्सी कम पड़ गई, तो आशीष अपने को कह रहा होगा कि हमने क्या असेसमेंट किया. उनको पुराने
have an auditorium
and I'm so happy to meet many of the ये शमीम अख्तर साहब है, बहुत बड़े फोटोग्राफर हैं, बहुत बड़े प्रशासक भी हैं, और ये प्रोफेसर नागला तो हमारे क्लास फेलो है। संजय जी ने को फोन किया, ये इकोनॉमिक्स से बड़े आचार्य, इनका परिचय लोग देखते कि मंत्री तो बहुत से हुए, लेकिन इकोनॉमिक्स के प्रोफेसर कितने मंत्री हुए, और सब लोग लेबर इकोनॉमिक्स। तो आज सब लोग आए, इसका मुझे बहुत खुशी है, और पूरे दिन भर ये बातचीत चलेगी।